So suppose we are either in an environment that doesn't support ES6, or we have a bunch of things like functions that use the keyword function instead of constant let to set it to a variable name. And we still want to avoid global variables. What would we have to do? So what else creates a new scope besides all blocks? Even in the old days, what created a new variable scope? When we use var, we said it always was in the scope of its enclosing function. So we could wrap the whole thing in a function. So let's do that. Just say function, function wrapped around the whole thing. I'll just leave my curly braces. Now it's complaining at me. So that would make them all local to that function. But none of the stuff would actually run, right? Because we're not running the function. My entire file would just be one big function declaration. So we need to invoke or run this function, right? So let's wrap the whole thing in parentheses. And then call it with open close parens. So we just wrapped this anonymous function in parentheses and immediately ran it. That way, all this stuff is still going to run, but it will be running from a function and therefore won't be polluting the global scope. Pretty common technique, especially prior to ES6. Common enough that there's a special name for this pattern. We call it an IIFE, IIFE, immediately invoked function expression. So you may see that a lot and wonder why on earth did they wrap this whole thing in a function just to call it immediately. It's for the sake of scope. It's for data hiding. And we call it an IIFE. And if we did it right, well, first of all, let's make sure everything still works. Yeah, okay, it still works. Can I get to render color? I cannot. Because that is a local function inside this function. Not available outside that function. You dig? Wrap everything in an IIFE. So we're not going to do that a whole lot in class because we are using newer stuff. But it's a pattern you'll see. Best to know what the point is. So there's something else we could do to organize our code a bit differently. If data hiding were our only goal, this would be by far the simplest way to do it, probably. But what if we put everything inside an object? So we fiddled with objects a little yesterday. Trying to remember if I started a new video after that one because I wanted to.